Very good evening to all of you. So today again I am here before you presenting the next part of life processes, which is transportation and circulation in humans and plants. In animals and plants. So let's continue. So what is transportation? So before we begin with anything, let us understand what is transportation. So transportation, as we all know, is the movement of substances from one place to another. So in case of biology, we have the blood capillaries, blood vessels in the body, which carry blood cells, oxygen, nutrients, waste, hormones from one place to another. So all these things will be transported with the help of the circulatory or the transport system of the body. As you can see here, we have oxygen, nutrients, carbon dioxide and waste being transported. And all this is transported with the help of blood vessels. Moving ahead. So what is circulatory system? Before we begin with anything, let us understand the components of the circulatory system. So the circulatory system basically consists of heart, which is the primary organ. We have blood and the blood vessels. These blood vessels are of three categories: arteries, three types: arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries, veins and capillaries. So what are these arteries, veins and capillaries? We will understand this in the forthcoming slides. And first we will begin with the first component of the circulatory system, which is the heart. Heart is a four-chambered structure. So it's a muscular organ of the size of your fist, and it is located between the lungs, and this heart is comprised of four chambers. It has two atriums. As you can see, it has two atriums, left and right atrium and left and right ventricles. So if we consider it like a box, so upper two chambers will be atrium and lower two chambers will be ventricles. Okay, and another important thing to consider here and to remember is this side. The right side that we see will be the left side of the heart. So it will be left auricle and left ventricle. It will be right auricle and right ventricle. And these auricles and ventricles, they are separated with the help of a septum called this muscular flap, which is the septum. And these left atrium and left ventricle we will study ahead. They are also separated. Right auricle and right ventricle, they are also separated with the help of valves. We will study this ahead. Sorry for this. Yeah, so we will study this ahead in the next slides. So all you can see here is the structure of a heart, which comprised of left hand side and the right hand side. The left hand side that you can see will be carrying the oxygenated blood, and the right hand side will be carrying the deoxygenated blood, as you can see on the pointer. So this is denoted by blue color, which is rich in carbon dioxide. So this blood will be deoxygenated, and towards the left hand side the blood is oxygenated, that is rich in oxygen. So let us understand the structure and the functioning of this heart. So beneath this sound of mine, you must be hearing the heart beating, which is the sound of the heart, lub dub. And here you can see the structure of the heart. Here you can see the internal structure of the heart, where we can clearly see right auricle written as RA, left auricle written as LA, right ventricle, right ventricle and left ventricle. So the oxygenated blood will move from the left hand side, that is from the left auricle or atrium, left to left auricle or atrium to the left ventricle. From here it will go via the aorta to different body parts, and towards the right hand side that you can see, right auricle sending the blood into the right ventricle. From here the blood will go with the help of pulmonary vein, with the help of pulmonary artery into the body parts. Now we have double circulation. Towards the uh, left hand side you saw the circulation was deoxygenated. Towards the left hand side, the circulation was oxygenated. The red colored blood was flowing, and towards the right hand side, the blood flowing was deoxygenated. This is the most important and most widely asked questions in the board examination, double circulation. So this double circulation actually is divided into two parts: pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Now, what does this pulmonary mean? Pulmonary means lungs. So, blood going towards the lungs and away from the lung will comprise of pulmonary circulation. And systemic, the system of the body, the entire body parts, they will come under the category of systemic circulation. So, if the system are receiving the blood from the heart and system body parts or body system is sending the blood to the heart, then this will come in the category of systemic circulation. So let us understand this. Now we have this double circulation. I will show you with the help of arrow where does this circulation, how does this circulation work. So we have vena cava, which are of two types, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Both these vena cava are the blood vessels which carry blood, deoxygenated blood that you can see here. This vena cava will carry deoxygenated blood from different body parts into the right atrium, right? So it will be carrying the blood to the right atrium, this region, right atrium, okay? And then from the right atrium, now the blood will move into the right ventricle, okay? So it was right atrium. From this right atrium, now the blood will move into the right ventricle with the help of a valve which has three flaps called tricuspid valve. Okay, now from the right ventricle, now the blood has come here. Now the blood has come here into the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, the blood will now be taken to lungs for oxygenation. Correct. Okay. And who will take this? Pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery will take the blood into the lungs. Okay. So let me repeat this once again. The blood will move from right auricle to right ventricle. From right ventricle, it will go to lungs with the help of pulmonary artery. Correct? Now the deoxygenated blood has reached the lungs. Now moving ahead. So here the blood purification will happen. This is the lungs where alveoli that we have seen in case of respiration also. The end terminal parts of lungs are the alveoli where the exchange of gases will take place. That is, the oxygen will be loaded into the blood and carbon dioxide will be deloaded to be exhaled out. So here loading of blood with oxygen happens. So when blood is loaded with oxygen, now the blood becomes oxygenated. Now this oxygenated blood will now be traveling, right? Will now travel into this left atrium. with the help of pulmonary vein. Okay, so this pulmonary vein will be carrying the oxygenated blood into the right atrium, right? Now, right atrium will receive the blood. From right atrium, it will go to right ventricle, which is just beneath. Oh, I am so sorry. Please. From here, the oxygenated blood, which is the left auricle, from left auricle, this will go to left ventricle. This oxygenated blood will go into the left ventricle with the help of a valve which has two flaps called bicuspid valve. Now, from the left ventricle, which is thick walled, now it has high pressure, and now when it compresses or it contracts, it will push the blood out. It will push the blood back into the system, into the body parts, as you can see here with the help of this blood vessel aorta. So aorta will take away the blood from the heart into the body parts. As you can see here, we have body parts where we have capillaries at the end, and these capillaries are in contact with the tissues of the body tissues. So these body tissues, they are rich in carbon dioxide. So what will happen here? Oxygen will be given to the tissues and carbon dioxide will be taken up from the tissues. So oxygen will be loaded into the tissues. And now the blood becomes deoxygenated, and we have seen earlier this deoxygenated blood will now go with the help of vena cava into the right atrium. Correct. Okay, so this process continues. This is called double circulation. This question also often comes in examination. Why is it called double circulation? Because the blood flows twice through the heart. One from the left hand side, oxygenated blood, another from the right hand side. So the blood is flowing twice through the heart. So this circulation is known as double circulation. And why is this double circulation necessary? Can you tell me? Because we humans, we have very high energy demand and we cannot afford this mixing of blood. Do you know the blood in case of heart, in case of crocodiles, that is not completely divided. The ventricles are not completely divided. So they have mixing of mixing of blood in their ventricles, right? So but they can afford because their energy requirement is not that high. Okay, but humans, we four-chambered individuals, we cannot afford mixing of blood, so we have completely divided atrium and ventricles. Also completely divided left hand side and right hand side. I hope I could make this clear to you. So now let us understand the double circulation with the help of this image. You can see this double circulation heart having the blood moving twice through it, one from the left hand side, which is the oxygenated blood, one from the right hand side, which is the deoxygenated blood. So blood moving twice through the heart is double circulation. Towards the left hand side, it is shown in the red color, oxygenated blood from left atrium, it will go into the left ventricle through the bicuspid valve. From here it will go through aorta, that you can see, through aorta into the different body parts, which is called systemic circulation, where the blood becomes deoxygenated when tissues will take up the oxygen and load carbon dioxide into it. Now this deoxygenated blood with the help of vena cava will go back into the right atrium, which is the deoxygenated blood chamber. Right atrium, from here the blood will now be going into the right ventricle with the help of tricuspid valve. From the right ventricle, now this blood will go with the help of pulmonary artery into the lungs. This is called pulmonary circulation. And the second part of pulmonary circulation, where this oxygenated blood The deoxygenated blood which has reached the lungs becomes oxygenated by the addition of oxygen in the alveoli. This oxygenated blood will now go with the help of pulmonary vein into the left atrium. So this upper part is called pulmonary circulation, and this lower circulation will be called systemic circulation, and they together form this double circulation. Now let us understand the composition of the blood. So blood has two components. The entire blood will be divided into two parts: plasma, which is the liquid part, and the blood cells, which are RBCs, WBCs, and platelets. As you can see, the plasma will have 90% of water, and it has all the dissolved digested food, hormones, gases, electrolytes, proteins floating inside the plasma part. And if we talk of the formed elements, the blood's formed elements which are floating in the liquid portion, which is the plasma. So the formed elements are of three types which are leukocytes, WBCs, erythrocytes, RBCs, and platelets. And these WBCs are further divided into granulocytes and agranulocytes, which you will study in detail in grade 11. So as of now, you only need to know what are formed elements: RBCs, WBCs, and platelets. Platelets are not called cell, they are fragmented cells. So they help in the clotting of blood that you have seen in case you get any injury or you get a wound. So blood comes out of it, but this blood clots after some time. So all thanks to platelets. And WBCs are the immune cells. They are the cells responsible for the immune system defense of the body against the foreign antigens. And RBCs carry hemoglobin. So they have hemoglobin, a pigment in them which carry oxygen. So which is a carrier of oxygen. So now we have different type of blood vessels. The third component of the circulatory system is the blood vessels. We have three type of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. As you can see on the screen, arteries have the thickest cell wall, so they can withstand very high pressure. So they are thick walled, they are deep seated inside the body. They usually carry oxygenated blood. Exception is pulmonary artery, which carry deoxygenated blood. Then you have vein, which comparatively has less thicker cell membrane. This wall of it is comparatively thinner as compared to the arteries. So the lumen is large and they are superficial. You can see on your skin as well, and they carry deoxygenated blood with an exception: pulmonary vein, which carry oxygenated blood. And in the interjunction of these arteries and veins, we have highly divided capillaries, which are one cell thick, and they are responsible for exchange of substances and gases that you have seen in case of alveoli also. So exchange of gases will take place in the capillaries. Now we have blood pressure. So what is blood pressure? It is the pressure with which the blood flows in the blood vessels and the pressure with which it strikes the walls of the blood vessels. This is a very important measurement for the cardiovascular health. This blood pressure usually is noted down, is measured in two terms: systolic and diastolic pressure, which is 120 by 80 mm of Hg. So systolic pressure is the pressure when the heart pumps the blood, or when the atrium ventricles they contract, they undergo systole. So the pressure when ventricles undergo contraction, and when diastolic pressure when the ventricles undergo relaxation. So it has to be 120 by 80 approximately for a healthy human being. In case the pressure is above this, is higher than this, then we put it in the category of hypertension, which leads to cardiac problems. Then you have lymph and the lymphatic system. So what is lymph before we begin? Lymph is a yellow colored fluid which drains from the body, drains from the blood vessels into the tissue fluids. And now let us understand this. You people must have seen elders when their legs or the arms they get numb when they sit in one particular position. तो आपने ऐसा सुना होगा बड़ों को कहते हुए कि पैर सो गया, हाथ सो गया. They get those numb limbs. And why is that? When there is less movement in the body, less circulation of blood in the blood vessels, so usually these blood capillaries, which are 1 cell thick, they usually have gaps between them, and through them the fluid part of the blood that comes out in the tissues. This fluid which exudes out from the blood vessels will form the lymph. Now, if it keeps on happening, so our blood volume will keep on decreasing. But the body has a smart system to get this lost fluid also back through the drainage system, which is called the lymphatic system. Once the fluid leaves from the blood vessels into the tissues that you can see here, when this fluid drains here, right? When you can see this draining here, now this forms a lymph here. So we have drainage system to collect the lymph and put it back into the blood vessels. This system is also important for the immune system because these blood vessels will get the lymph back after reaching the lymph nodes where all the immune reactions will take place. Because if the body will put all the lymph back into the blood, then it might also drain some germs and bacteria that also might have been present along with the tissues. So we have this lymph going into the lymphatic nodes that you can see in the screen. There are a lot of lymph nodes, granular structures that you can see. These are lymph nodes. So blood first, this fluid or the lymph first goes here, undergo purification, killing of the germs by the immune reaction, and then the purified fluid is returned into the blood. Now coming up to the circulation in plants. So you know that circulation also happens in plants. Plants have two uh, conducting tissues or the vascular tissues, we can say. One is xylem and the other one is phloem. So xylem will help in the transport of water and minerals from the roots to the upper parts. It is unidirectional. And if I talk of phloem, so phloem will move the food which is produced in the leaves to upper parts also, to upper parts of the plant and to the lower parts. So this is a bidirectional movement of substances through the phloem. Mechanism of movement. This often comes in examination, children. This is very important. रूट में भी मूवमेंट कैसे होगा? विद द हेल्प ऑफ रूट प्रेशर, capillary action and the transpiration pull. So you must have seen the transpiration happening through the stomata. So when the uh, water vapors are lost from the stomata, then it creates a suctional pull, a transpirational pull which pulls the water from the xylem or the tubes or the vascular pipelines. Therefore, it creates a root pressure or a capillary pull which keeps on pulling the water and minerals up. So this is very important to note that the movement of water from the roots will be with the help of root pressure, capillary action and transpirational pull. Okay, moving ahead, the transport of phloem. transport of food with the help of phloem. So food, as you know, is produced in the form of glucose by the process of photosynthesis. These smaller glucose units, they join together, they form sucrose, which is solubilized, which is like mixed with water and is transported from the leaves to upper parts of the plant and to the root. So it moves in the bidirectional manner with the help of active transport. Active transport means this will require ATP to do the movement. So this is the difference between the plant and the human transportation. So the pipelines that are vascular tissues are, in case of plants, are xylem and phloem. In case of humans, it is the blood vessels, which are divided into arteries, veins and capillaries. So plants do not have heart, we have heart here. So this is the basic difference. Excuse me, this is the basic difference between them. Then these are some of the important board examination diagram that are often asked. So all you need to learn them: double circulation, diagram of xylem and phloem, human circulatory system and human heart. So you can be asked about the labeling of the heart. Okay, these are some of the questions that you can try. So I have noted some previous year questions from this part of the life process that have come in CBSE board examinations, and I have divided them into short answers, very short, long and MCQs. So asking you those questions: name the process by which plants lose water through stomata. It is called transpiration. Which organ in humans is responsible for transporting oxygen to the cells? So the organ which is responsible for transporting the blood will be heart via the blood, and inside the blood it is hemoglobin which carries. In case you're asked which pigment is responsible, so the pigment is hemoglobin. Which cells are responsible? Cells are RBCs. And which organ is responsible for transportation? So pumping will be done by the heart. Next, state one difference between pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. Pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein are the exceptions. I have told you all the arteries will be carrying the oxygenated blood, but the pulmonary artery here will carry deoxygenated blood, and the pulmonary vein will carry oxygenated blood. Okay, moving next. Which blood vessels have valves? Valves are present. Which blood vessels have valves and why? So veins will have valves in them. Very important question, often asked in examination. As you can see, PYQ 2015. So this is asked in 2015 and even after that also. So to prevent the backflow of blood, so veins have valves in them because they carry the blood against the gravity from the legs to your heart. So they are carrying the blood against the gravity, so they have valves in them. What is double circulation? See, this is asked in 2016 and 2019 also. Diagram of human heart and repeated many a times, 2015, 17, 2019. Why do arteries have thick elastic walls and veins have thin walls? I have told you, because the pressure inside the arteries is very high because they get blood from the ventricles. So they have high pressure. To withstand that high pressure, they have thick walls, and veins do not have that thick wall because the pressure in them is very low. Name the component of the blood and state the functions. You know, we have plasma and formed elements, which are of three types: RBC, RBCs, WBCs, they are written in capitals, and platelets. They are platelets responsible for clotting, WBC responsible for immune system, RBCs are responsible for the carrying of oxygen. Two main components or main functions of lymph. Lymph, they transport the digested fat. They also help in the immunity and drain the excess fluid. Moving ahead to the long questions, we have explained the structure and functioning of heart. You can see double circulation again asked in 2018, 2022 and previous year also. Explain with the help of suitable diagram, explain how water and minerals are transported. So you have to show the movement upwards from the roots to the xylem with the help of transpirational pull, root pressure and capillary action. How is the food transported in the plants? With the help of phloem. So here are some questions that you can note down. So happy learning, and please like and subscribe the channel in case you find this worth studying. And please update me about any suggestions. I'll be happy to help you. Thank you so much.